This is Akashvani. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on financial inclusion through Dhan, Aadhar and mobile, JAM Trinity. The participants are Shankar Iyer, economic analyst, and Anubha Rodki, anchor.
The JAM Trinity, or the linkage of the Dhan Yojana, Aadhar and mobile, has created a digital revolution in India that has benefited millions of people across the country. It is a tool used by the government to transfer cash benefits directly to the bank account of the intended beneficiary. I am now joined by economic analyst Shankar Iyer to discuss this issue. Mr. Iyer, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Mr. Iyer, how has the digital revolution transformed the financial landscape of India, especially the trinity of the PMJDY Yojana, Aadhar and mobile, or JAM as we know it?
So I want to take you back to 2017. I have written a book, Aadhar, a biometric history of India's 12-digit revolution, released by President Pranab Mukherjee and received by Prime Minister Modi. So when I titled the book 12-digit revolution, a lot of people wondered whether I was overstating a fact. But today, almost everyone has come to concede that this is indeed a revolution. If you look at it, the entire JAM Trinity works on a pyramid, which is in the first decade of this millennium, we had the expansion of mobile telephony. And the first thing that they did was they bring down the mobile costs, made the first big step in that was to make incoming calls free. And then came the data revolution and made data cheaper for everybody. So now there are government policies which have been helpful. Now on that layer of mobile connectivity, you place the facility of identity, which is Aadhar. And on top of that, you have the facility of inter-person, inter-institution, person to institution, or as they say, C2C, B2B, B2C, all kinds of transactions can be done under the unified payment interface. I don't think any other country has such a sophisticated system that is so simple. And there has been tremendous serendipity in each of this. So NPCI was formed sometime in 2009. Aadhar came into being roughly in 2011. UPI came into being sometime in 2014. Demonetization happened. It was a black swan event. For whatever trouble it caused, it has been the accelerator of adoption of digital technology, digital payments. Today you can do almost any kind of transaction. You go to any place, whether it's your cab driver, whether it's your grocery guy, whether it's your vegetable seller. His first preference is for you to pay him by UPI. He might say, "Aap phone pay karo, Paytm karo, Bheem pay karo." He might use all of this. But he might say digital karo. All of these are his ways of saying that I prefer this. I find this much more useful. I find this much more convenient. And this is the kind of transaction levels that we see, which is in billions per month. Today, I was looking at the data. We've done 8 billion transactions. I mean, it's amazing. And this particular stack, which is the payment stack, is the envy of the entire world.
The Pradhan Mantri Dhan Yojana, or the PMJDY, completed a decade earlier this year. How has this initiative promoted financial inclusion and made banking accessible to all?
Digital transaction systems are like a tiered cake. So you have one base, which is the mobile. On top of that, you have the identity. Once you have the identity, it was very easy to open accounts. In the earlier days, it took months, sometimes weeks. People had trouble opening accounts. Though PMJDY, which is the Prime Minister's Dhan Yojana, brought banking to over 50 crore people. That's amazing. It's one of the biggest transformative events that happened. Now, once you had the accounts, it became easy for the government to transact with the individual because you had UPI. Now, if you see mobile, on top of it Aadhar, on top of it the bank account, on top of it is the UPI. If you look at it in management terms, this is triangulation of 3 objectives, which is ease of doing business, which is that you can open a bank account, get a telecom connection, make payments online, everything ease of business. You have ease of governance. The government can transfer money to you. You can pay government any kind of money. I just paid, for instance, my gas cylinder. I paid UPI, and that it gets done. And then you have the ease of living. People don't have to run around the whole place trying to get something done. This is just at the click of a button. So this is truly digital, physical, digital infrastructure. And this Trinity, you look at it, it has brought together political attention, it has brought social attention, it has brought in economic attention. All three have combined to give you objectives. The poorest of the people who are less fortunate or less educated, are the ones who adopt technology at the fastest speed.
Right. So, since we're talking about this particular scheme, I was reading the statistics, and under the PMJDY, 56% accounts are held by women. That's more than half the accounts. And 67% accounts are in rural areas. How significant is the role of PMJDY in women empowerment and empowering the marginalized communities, covering the last mile?
I have always held the belief that reservations in panchayats or assembly seats in parliament, all of these are necessary but are not the priority. Political empowerment always comes from economic empowerment. And so, for the first time now, you see, because of the various direct benefit transfer schemes that governments are doing to women have money in their account, and they have a mobile, and they can transact, and they have the empowerment to take the call. They have agency. And this is something that has been possible only because, again, of the interconnectedness of mobile, JAM Trinity, Aadhar, and UPI. I mean, this is unbelievable. Can you think of a system where, in an earlier day, any state government which wants to do cash benefit transfers, whatever the name of the program, or any government in the earlier days would have to say transfer money to a woman farmer, a woman title holder, or beneficiary of the Prime Minister Awas Yojana. All of this is possible because the Jan Dhan Yojana brought to over 500 million people the facility of banking into an instrument which was in their hand.
What role has Aadhaar, which is India's own unique identification system, what role has it played in the success of initiatives such as the direct benefit scheme, which you were also mentioning right now, or the Kisan's credit scheme and other such schemes?
If you look at, you could have had many mobile connections, but if people couldn't prove their identity, they couldn't open bank. So what did Aadhaar do? Aadhaar brought the ability, enabled people to state with confidence that they are who they say they are. And that connectivity between them, mobile, their bank account. So Aadhaar is the accelerant. Aadhaar is actually the fundamental structure without which none of this could have worked. If you didn't have a program, a biometric system for identifying people, you couldn't have opened bank accounts. When I said that this is ease of governance, because governments were able to provide bank accounts to people through that identification system. If I say ease of business, that identification system allows anybody in Ladakh or Leh or wherever, southernmost tip of India or in Cuttack or wherever, to open a bank account without much hassle. He or she can buy a telecom subscription or a SIM card. That becomes the ease of business. And the ease of living. I can be anywhere and I can transfer money to my family. That suppose there is a migrant worker or a worker who is in some other town, who say from Bihar but is working in Punjab, he can transfer money back home as soon as he gets his salary in Punjab. So this is, without Aadhaar, you couldn't have had Jan Dhan, and without Jan Dhan, UPI requires a identity track. So this is like, if you want to run a train from one place to another, you need a track. If you want to take off a flight, you need a flight path. Aadhaar is that track, that fundamental structure without which none of this would have been possible.
There was a time when government's welfare schemes were marred by leakages, inefficiency, and corruption, failing to reach the people they were meant for. How has JAM plugged these loopholes and enhanced transparency?
As soon as the identity is established, the account is established, the money cannot go to any other account. See, what does the biometric identity do? That there cannot be two of you. There can be only one of. There cannot be two of me. There has to be only one of. And when there is that one person, one account, one government, one transfer, it's a seamless transfer of the benefits. So what used to happen earlier in the physical era is that, say, a person had a job card under Narega, and then he would work for 100 days, he would be given a check, or he had to go to a local post office and cash a check, make that cash, and do all of that. And to enable him, because he was not entirely empowered or literate or capable, there would be people who would be middlemen who would take the money. The other aspect was that people would make a job card in someone's name and show that payments were made to X number of people. And that can't happen because the money will go to that person's account. Okay, there is no way that money can be derailed. And that is the facility that identity brought to the system, the transparency. So if the government of India is transferring, let's say, the government of Maharashtra under the Ladki Bahin Yojana has to send money to Lakshmibai Mhatre, who is in, say, Bosri village, then there is no other person with that name, with that account number, with that identity number, which is correlated. So the money will go only there. If there is no physical handling of the resource, corruption has been weeded out.
Be it Aadhar, the Dhan Yojana, mobile telephony, or UPI, how are these, in conjunction with each other, helping to make a Viksit Bharat?
The speed of what is the basic principle of an economy? Money makes the mare go round. So here you have a system which is digital, which is instant. You don't have to wait for something. Now, what else is UPI doing? You can do SIP transactions for mutual funds. You can apply for new issues. You can pay your LIC premium. So it's an accelerant. It is like having a sixth or the seventh gear in your car. So what digital transactions do is they give you certainty, predictability, speed, and a facility and ease of doing. When all of this comes together, when speed comes, productivity leads to economic growth. Now, this is one part of the story that's happening here. There is another part of the story which is yet to happen, which is that because of the data underlying the UPI payments, people can actually borrow based on that data. What is your economic transaction like? What is your business transaction like? And a more important thing that will come through is that eventually people will be able to use UPI-based apps to make foreign currency transactions. Suppose you have a son or a daughter, say, studying at Cambridge or Oxford or wherever, they would be able to use this UPI to make foreign currency payments. So UPI has the power to push back against established status quo instruments like debit cards and credit cards and stuff. And so this has been a huge revolution. I don't think any other country could have had this. And this has come to India in the most serendipitous manner. And so we must celebrate this. We must also support its further expansion.
Mr. Iyer, thank you so much for speaking with Akashvani.
Thank you very much.
You were listening to a discussion on financial inclusion through Dhan, Aadhar and mobile JAM Trinity. The participants were Shankar Iyer, economic analyst, and Anubha Rohtgi, anchor. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of Akashvani. You can listen to it on our mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You may share your feedback about this program through email at airnsdtalks@gmail.com or WhatsApp on 9289094044.